Good evening, folks. This is Andrew with Red Castle Supply Company, and I've had so many requests for a tour of my Mad Scientist lab. I suppose I owe you a little bit of one. So, let's get after it. Okay guys, first and foremost we have our garden plant sprouting station. Now I got a ton of annuals as well as a significant number of perennials in here as well. Now I'm not at full capacity yet, but you know, it's labor intensive, so it's a work in progress. Here we got some blue crop blueberries and some elderberries that have been up potted, and they're a lot happier. And down here, the infamous tree cloner, and if you can get a good look here, the trees are starting to get happy with where they are at. Now I'm going to do a little more in-depth video on this later, but here, let's sneak a look here and see if we can see any roots yet. Probably not yet. It is a little early. The lighting is not in my favor right now. Well, it's hard to come into focus there, but not quite seeing any root nodules yet. And this one is not yet in use. Microgreen station is currently torn down for maintenance and cleaning, but we can go over here and see we've got some little bit of ginger, some sweet potatoes starting to send up. I think we got some early form slips right here. Yeah, just starting. And this guy, he's not doing a whole lot, but here we have some giant elephant garlic. And I just use clear solo cups because they're reusable. And that is my homemade soil mix. And here's a good reason why I like to use the clear cups. Not a ton going on there with that little guy. But right down there you can see all them roots. So there's a lot of activity going on under the soil. Kind of neat, huh? Alright, on to the next one. Now next we have my indoor vermicomposting operation. It's the lighting in here is a little odd, but we're in a basement, and that's by design because it's constant temperature all the time, and well, the worms like that it's dark. Now I just did a clean out and I'll show you the results, but this has been pretty much going since about November. Before the freeze I brought them in because I wanted them to keep doing work for me throughout the winter. Here's the basic setup. I have two 27-gallon totes. You can get those at Lowe's. I believe these ones were actually Home Depot ones. Doesn't really matter. Now there's no holes in the bottom, no drainage, nothing like that. I build them high so that any of the liquid can drain. Now these little green totes, I happen to get, it was a kind of a lucky win. I got it from a gas station that was getting rid of them. Now it's hard to see with these. Let's see if I can do the one that I pulled here. But their bottoms are completely perforated and it allows the worms to migrate up inside them. And that is not possible to see right now. Alright, anyway. The worms started with some basic material, which is this, just not complete rotted leaves, but they've been sitting in a city landfill for, well, the yard waste dump, years. And they pretty much get quite anaerobic, packed together. They almost come up in sheets. And then I put them in here. Again, poor lighting, I apologize. I put the tote on top and the worms will migrate in. The worms will migrate into here. They feed on everything, and then when that is complete and it is your usable worm castings, they start migrating through the perforated holes in the bottom of this tote as I keep feeding the tote from the top. Probably see a little bit in here. This is leftover kitchen waste and a whole lot of my leftover microgreens, seed shells, etc. And you can see the worms have left the walls all dirty because they like to climb around and explore and sometimes try to escape. But I haven't had too many escape attempts because they've learned that it's a good place to chill out and get good food. Alright, now it's time to show you what this little thing can result. I got the tote back on. I figured it'd be a good opportunity to show you with some better lighting what it looks like down here. Now, one of the things people ask about is the moisture retention being too much, and yeah, it can be. So whenever I have extra wet materials I throw in, I also throw in this. And for anybody that has a pellet stove might recognize these. These are hardwood pellets. They're basically compressed sawdust. And what they do is they help absorb, distribute, and I guess dilute out the moisture content. And they'll fluff back out. As you can see here, they've turned to sawdust because they've absorbed a ton of moisture. And they basically keep the worms from getting swamped out. All the moisture will stay right where it needs to be and be processed correctly rather than seep down to the bottom and create an anaerobic environment. Now that's kind of important because, as you saw earlier, I have no drainage holes in here. So no worm tea to collect. But let's see if we can check if anybody's home. Because like I said, when I cleaned out the actual material in here, there were no worms present. Oh, there's some little guys. Oh yeah, those are some babies. And if you look long enough in here, you'll see springtails, and I got a ton of isopods in here too, little roly-polies. Those are baby worms. There's a little guy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Icenia fetida, red wriggler. And a couple of his buddies. Alright, we'll leave them be. Don't want to agitate them too much. Alright, this is the result. Rich, beautiful black worm castings, and it went from that matted leaf material to this. Now there is some old recycled potting soil in here, but not very much. That's what you see in the little flecks is actually rocks and occasionally pieces of perlite. But this stuff is so soft, I can stick my arm all the way down it. And this is my potting mix. Still has a good good moisture content and porosity. It holds its shape pretty well. So it has a good clay structure. And this stuff is phenomenal for, well, filling in solo cups to make into it's a potting mix basically. And I just use this on its own. And this has sat for, the worms probably finished with it about a month ago and started migrating up. When I cleaned this out, there were no worms in it because there was nothing left for them really. They were done with it and they were migrated into the tote. And you just do a clean out every couple of months and you get a lot of good material to work with. Okay guys, that's it for the botanical lab tour. A little abbreviated, but we'll do some more in-depth stuff later. And as you can see behind me here, I have a lot more seeds to work with tonight. So, y'all have a good one. Stay frosty. This is Andrew for Red Castle Supply Company.